What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hoop Sense. We're here with Nostradamus right here. Trey in red hot. Just if you're not listening to the episodes, you don't even have to watch the games if you're listening because
Hey,
he's.
man, just bet, man. At this point, bet on me, man.
Oh man, how we doing?
We good, man. We good, man. You know, we're in game 6. We got one team that's gonna be in the finals. They just waiting on their next opponent, and then we got a fun series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, last night, man, Jalen Brunson just came out and like understood what was required, right? Like
Mhm.
just kind of stepped on the throat immediately, set the pace, set the tone for the game. And well, I think he was like 6 for 9 in the first quarter or something crazy like that. Like he was awesome, man. And it was cool to see the Knicks just like have that fight. Also, shout out Tibbs, who's he got a bench now.
Yeah, he has a bench. I don't think he has a choice at this point, man. Those
Right?
guys are starting to fizzle out a little bit, but yeah, man, the energy's there, man. I love to see New York Knicks fans online just going crazy and just
Yeah.
having some type of dog fight in them. And I kind of knew already that Indy was gonna come in flat. You know what I mean? I seen it from the jump, you know what I mean, from the previous game. So the idea that the Knicks are tough to beat at home.
Yeah.
That's the thing, especially when they're making shots and they feed off the crowd, and the crowd gave them the energy right back for them to just come out and do their thing. And it was interesting at the end of the game. Pascal Siakam was questioning a few times about like, what happened out there, and he's just like, guys made shots. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they had more energy than us, and that happens. Literally, that's basketball. It's not anything of who's better or whatnot. I mean, it's just an approach and how you respond. And if the game gets too much out of reach, then that's the deciding factor. And Tyrese Halliburton just wasn't as aggressive and really didn't get it going. So, I don't know if it's a luxury to play in your home building and feel confident about it, but yeah, again, it's New York's tough to win at. You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
I had no intentions of the Pacers closing the deal in that
No,
game.
I think it's hard to like understand or appreciate like desperation too,
Hmm.
like and you can say all of the right things where you're like, we're up 3-1, we don't want to lose this game, we want to shut it down. Like, don't give them life, right? I think it's easy
Hmm.
to say those things, but to match the Knicks energy, knowing like it is win or go home. Like we don't have the luxury, like you said, of going back home or going back and playing another game because this
Yeah.
is it. You got to win this one. I think it was hard for them to match that. What do you make like talking about Halliburton, where and we've seen this a couple of times from him, where
Hmm.
you kind of know right away what Halliburton you're getting. What do
Yeah.
you make of like that thing of just being like sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't, like for to go from so dominant of a performance the night before 2 nights ago to then last night just being like a little bit passive, right? Because similar to what we saw from Anthony Edwards in that OKC game in Game 4, which I don't think it's exactly the same thing because of how OKC was defending Ant-Man, but definitely like it was a different player in
Most
last night.
I was gonna say most people like to dig and say these guys aren't superstars, or hey, because this what separates them. A superstar is consistent. No, look at the game. Look how they're defended.
Hmm.
Mutual respect. When you send a double,
Yeah,
you send a triple. When you take away their strengths, you got to rely on your teammates to show up and make big plays. And the flow of the game just doesn't go that way. The same thing with Anthony Edwards. You know what I mean? Like,
hmm,
he has no answer for a double team. I mean, I think in the offseason, he's going to have to figure out how to move without the ball and find other ways to, score, you know what I mean, whether it's back cuts or et cetera, and implement that into the offense. But when you're seeing it, man, all the plays kind of go out the window. There's no play that you can draw up last minute and get a guy open. This is
right.
what you see is what you get. And when it's I think we as fans underrate how hard it is to beat someone 4 times,
Yeah,
right?
and especially
Because
back to back, like consecutive
like
games.
no, like it is really sometimes you just dominate and you got it. You win the matchup. But at the end of the day, it is very hard to beat a team back to back to back to back. And in this case, like this is a very good team with the Knicks, and it is a very good team with the Indiana Pacers. And when you really think about how they're going about everything, right? There's no room for mistakes. You miss free throws, the game's close.
Mm-hmm.
Foul trouble, the game's out of reach. Certain people, you know what I mean? And I think, much credit to, the guys like DeLon Wright and the Landry Shamits of the world and the Deuce McBrides who have been giving that type of energy for New York to stay in games while the guys are on the bench in foul trouble or getting rest. And I think that's a whole nother thing, because if you give Jalen Brunson an actual shot, whether it's an 8-point game, whether it's a 4-point game, he's going to feel confident enough to make the big shots and will his team to victory. And I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed victory with Indiana. It's going to be very tough tomorrow. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think that they're going to bring all the possible energy they can because they understand how important this is.
Mm-hmm.
They do not want to go back to New York.
No.
Face them in a game 7, because if that happens, the New York Knicks will be playing in the NBA Finals.
I totally agree. And I'm it brought back to the second round where, the Knicks Celtics had a similar thing, and obviously not the same situation because the Celtics were shorthanded, but the Celtics came out in game 5 and they were like, balls to the wall. It was again hard to recreate that desperation, but then you go back to New York and New York was like, hey, we're not fucking around. Like we're, and I imagine we get the same type of energy from Indiana. But to like your point, every single game outside of, I think, game 3 was it where the Knicks won? All of these games have been close and within the balance. So, the Pacers were up 3-1, but you go back to game 1, and the Knicks should have won that game. You go, game 2 was in like a few possession game the whole way through. Same thing with game 4. So, the Knicks are very much in this. And I think, one key thing that I'm curious to see on Saturday is Nesmith is apparently the only one that can slow Brunson down. Because going into this series, man, I thought Nembhard was going to be a guy that could trip up Brunson, and Brunson's looking at Nembhard like lunch. He does not seem to be slowed down by him. And Nesmith only played like 16 minutes last night, and I don't know if that was the Pacers being like, we don't got it tonight. Let's rest this guy.
Yeah, Carlisle, he gets it, man.
Yeah.
Again, it's not even a quit. It's not even anything like that. It's just the flow of the game. Is it technically worth it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now it's a gamble. It's a huge gamble to be like, yo, we'll get him back at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you got to read the room because anybody can get hurt. It just be a lot of both. You don't want to carry over a cold night into the next.
Right.
Those guys get to come back home, sleep in their beds. They get to, get into their shooting routine, get familiar to the spots that they're familiar with, and have that support. You know what I mean? Like, again, being at the game, it was the home court advantage is so aggressive. I'm talking about, Mike, they're putting you on the big screen.
Yeah.
And forcing you to put on your shirt.
Yeah.
I'm so serious. They don't move the camera until you put the shirt on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's wild.
It's almost annoying, but that's how important the sixth man is.
Yeah.
I mean, the sixth man is to them.
Right.
You know what I mean? In the crowd.
That's so funny too. I don't know if you saw the back and forth between Pat McAfee and John Mellencamp, about because for those that missed it, I think it was game 4. McAfee was just kind of jokingly yelling at the celebrities of the Knicks who traveled, and of the Knicks fans. And John Cougar Mellencamp released a statement being like, "I didn't know who that guy was, but that's not Hoosier energy or something like that." But you're right. The fans in Indiana are nuts. And New York too. But you're right. It's the atmosphere is going to be
literally stab somebody.
That's crazy.
Literally stab somebody. I'm headed home and I see ambulance and I'm like, huh?
Come on.
Did somebody get in an accident? What's happening? Dude. Passionate.
No,
basketball fans need to chill out. It's just a game.
Yeah, that was a little too serious. I did see a Knicks fan account retweet or quote tweet Halliburton with the Pacers fan that got the trash thrown at him at the game and meeting him. And the Knicks fan was the account was like, yeah, that's really cool, but what about stabbing people? It's like, come on, man, that's not a 1-for-1. Like Halliburton wasn't out there saying you should go stab somebody. Obviously, that's not what was happening. That was crazy. I feel like that was a blip too. I can't believe that didn't get covered more. That was a nutso thing. All right, so do you have Mr. Undefeated Takesman right now? Do you have how are we feeling for game 6? Do you think the Pacers?
I got the Pacers.
You get the Pacers?
I got the Pacers. I would like to see 7 games selfishly.
Yeah.
I just think that New York's going to fight. But Indy, man, they're gonna come out swinging strong. This game's gonna be close too.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be decided like in the last 6 minutes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there is a world where Indiana comes out and does what New York did last night in the first quarter and just sets the tone right away. But I'm with you. I think this ends up being a close game. And if at any point, if Nesmith is like really hobbled and he can't go, or that he's going but not like full strength, I am a little bit nervous for Indy because I do think he's really been the only one. Like, no one's stopping Brunson, but at least like maybe he's not as
Brunson stops himself,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the thing. If he gasses out, and guys stay healthy, I know like it was kind of questionable with Cat and all that other stuff. Like,
he looked good last night.
That's what I'm saying. Guys are getting their bodies ready. There's not really enough time to really breathe this out. If they say, "Hey, the game is on Sunday," I would like New York's chances. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more. But it's such a quick turnaround. And I just think, like, again, it's so important to sleep in your own bed and get into that whole routine, man. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the New Yorkers was keeping them boys up, knowing that they stayed in them type of hotels. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not the same thing. You know what I mean? I got a chance I was supposed to take DeLon Wright out to dinner. And they end up doing a team dinner. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is smart. Right. Which is smart because
keep everybody locked in.
We don't want a Jordan moment. You get some bad pizza. You get some, guys are locked in, and that's great. You know what I mean? And now you got to respect that. So from both parties, like fans are passionate and really want to win, and they know everybody that's in town and who's not in town, and that's an advantage to itself, man. So
you mentioned the quick turnaround. Has it been like this for the last couple of years, and maybe I just haven't clocked it? I feel like we used to have a couple days between games.
It used to be that way, but I think now that I can't really make of it.
Yeah,
it's not bad to me.
No,
I think the players hate it, but I think having basketball on every night just does something for the ratings. Yeah. And also, like the overcommitment to media dollars is now invested into this thing.
Sure.
And also this league has now transitioned into a 12-month league. You know what I'm saying? We go into draft right into summer league.
Right.
You know what I mean? We get like a couple weeks off and then we go right into that thing. You know what I mean? And there's gonna be some trades and conversations that make this one of the best sports in the world. So yeah, it's more of a media buy thing. That's why I don't think they were ever leaning to the idea of changing the games, despite how you feel about 82 or not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now you playing 82.
But also, it's funny because players can't say that because they trying to get those $300, $400 million contracts.
Right.
LeBron's about to opt in and get $52 million just for one season. So
it's crazy.
That's what we're gonna get to that point of one player making $100 million one season, and you're gonna understand it.
Yeah, well, that's what Shea, I think they were looking at what his extension could look like after winning MVP, and he's basically going to be making by like that third year, I think it is, like $1 million a game. Like it'll be like 82 mil for the season. Which, hey, go get that bag, go get it. All right, do you think? So say we know that I want to transition to OKC getting through, but before we do that, do you think either one of these teams between the Pacers and the Knicks have a better opportunity at against OKC?
No. No. I just think that again, are there winnable ball games? Absolutely. Can injuries happen? Absolutely. Nothing is written.
Right.
I think the idea of it is any basketball fan likes their chances against OKC. But what we've seen throughout the playoffs, whether they're battle tested, taken to the the end, blowing teams out, doing what they need to do, they are a very good defensive team, and defense still wins championships.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's looking like if they don't make a shot, then they're getting back on defense and getting it right back.
Yeah.
And
And
most of every possession has fallen.
yeah.
Whether it's a three, whether it's a free throw, whether it's just
It's the
getting to a
first team in a while that I remember you almost talk about them like they're the Baltimore Ravens or something. Like that they turn defense into offense. Like you don't see that a lot. I mean, we talk about teams in transition or like the Pacers playing fast and they want to run, but like the Thunder legit go on runs from turnovers. Like they decide they're taking the ball away from you and they take the ball away from you. They've been so good defensively that the last all three teams they've knocked out, the reaction immediately is like, well, what does this team need to do to fix stuff? And it's like, I don't know. Maybe the Thunder are just great, man. Maybe Denver isn't broken. Maybe Minnesota isn't broken. It's just that
no,
OKC
none of
is
those
great.
teams none of those teams have like real. I think they do need to get better.
Yeah.
There's always room for improvement, but you're running into a legit team. You know what I mean? And a lot of people was discounting them. Oh, they're too young. Dude, these young guys, they remind me of the Celtics. You know what I mean? Like these young guys are battle tested. Yeah, they've gotten knocked out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But they're still young and they're, like they have a good leader that they lean into. And also they have some vets that have been there, man. You know what I mean? Like that also add value. And they're deep. They're
so
deep.
deep.
All their supporting casts are starting to improve at the right time. You know what I mean? Jalen Williams had that tough stretch early on and then just figured it out.
He's
He looks
awesome.
so confident out there, like to a point where I don't know. Chet healthy. You know what I mean? They didn't have him for, you know what I mean? That was the reason why they got knocked out.
Right.
They didn't have him. You know what I mean? And then you just got other guys just coming in, just making big plays. You know, I was on Casey Wallace's ass for not making a shot, and he ends up making the three to end the quarter. But he brings so much other stuff if he's struggling with his shot. You know what I mean? He's going to get those open looks. Lou Dort looking like a two-way guy. Like, what are we doing? I'm not a fan of Lou Dort diving for the ball when nobody else diving for the ball. But
yeah, I saw that there. That is something. Cole Anthony was doing that a little bit in the regular season, right? I forget who it was that not on purpose, but like took somebody out diving for it. And that was you that tweeted that out, right? Like I like that take of you're only allowed to dive if two people are diving.
I mean, it's hard to read, but like if everybody's standing, bro, like like he's not even trying to get the ball at this point. I feel like a dive is like a literal loose ball.
Yeah.
Like how we do in the drills.
Right.
We don't dive in practice to be like, go head to head. You're going to get a concussion. You're going to hurt somebody. It's the same way you playing football. I used to play football in high school, and the cornerbacks would low-key get in trouble if they hit us below the knees.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's funny because like I don't feel that like you're diving on the sideline or baseline like out of bounds, that feels totally fine. But when you're doing it in like mid-court, and it always just feels dangerous. Also, Wesley in the chat was saying it was Jaden Ivey. That's right. It was the Jaden Ivey broken leg injury. That was from the Cole Anthony dive. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Dort
dives. I mean, listen, again, I do feel like it's a part of the game. It is very legal, but it has become dangerous because guys don't do it. Same with block charge, right?
Yeah.
If you take the wrong block charge, a guy can land wrong and break his wrist.
Right.
It's a part of the game, but it is something that needs to be adjusted.
Yeah.
Because if you say, hey, you're not going to get a blocking foul, I mean, you're not going to get a charging foul, they will be less taken.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I would be more into any a charge could be taken outside of the paint.
I like. Oh wow, that's
because that means the player won't be aerial.
Right. So you're not getting anybody hung up in the air like that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you move your feet and you beat them to the spot and you charge, cool.
Yeah.
But in the paint, No charges taken.
I'm
Because
for that.
because you can't control your body once you leave the air.
Yeah,
leave the ground.
man. 2015 Kyle Lowry's probably furious right now. So how dare you? How dare you take away my
I
game
get
like
it.
that?
People, I took a lot of charges in college. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I made a living off that because sometimes I didn't trust my big man. I just be like, I'm a flop, bro.
Yeah.
Forget it. I know this gonna work in my advantage. You know what I mean? But some rules, you know what I mean? Like a loose ball. If you see a guy reaching,
Yeah.
it's not like we look at each other and let's dive. Nobody in NBA has shown us that where we're just like everybody gets out of their seat because guys are just hustling crazy.
No.
Like 3 guys dived at the same time. That doesn't happen.
No.
The guy always relies on his arms because he has long arms to pick up and slightly bend.
Right.
And then there's one guy who's just a Caruso, a Dort, a Solomon Hill. However,
Solomon Hill shout out. Let's go.
But the thing is, Solomon Hill didn't do that on purpose.
No, no.
But the idea of it is that it is just not a basketball play anymore.
Yeah. I know. I'm with you. I don't.
We've evolved from that because guys aren't on that. Coach is not even screaming that no more.
No. Well,
you
because
get what I'm saying?
If you're wrong,
imagine that I'm telling Jalen Brunson to dive.
Right.
And
you never.
I remember Rondo dove and dislocated his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just not a safe basketball play.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because like if you're wrong when you dive, you risk injury, but you also get yourself way out of position for the rest of the play. You're probably drawing a foul on yourself because you're like, if you're wrong on the dive. So yeah, I'm with you. Then no one outside of like my dad or something is probably like, that's right, you got to lay out. Like, you're right, the game has evolved. We don't do that anymore. It's not a part of the game.
I mean, shouts to the Chargers, right? You got Bron taking charges. You have a couple other stars risking their bodies, right? Understanding what it takes. But that's just not for the rest of the 450.
No.
They're not doing it.
No.
They're not doing it, bro.
No.
They're not doing it. So the idea that you think you just got to scrap the dive, bro. Because it's not enough. It's not enough players doing it.
This is a good take.
I would remove the take if a handful of 100 players dove.
Right. It needs to be more than a
If you
quarter.
can point out, 100 players dove this season. Separate, not one player, but 100 players of the 450 dove, I would shut up.
Yeah. And again, I'll still allow diving for the ball as you're going out of bounds. Like that one, that to me is a different play than like diving mid-court. And I bet you it's less than 15 dives this season.
Easy call because, again, effort.
Yeah.
Those are the 50-50 balls. Maybe Contavious Caldwell-Pope would have dove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, the 50-50 balls aren't just won that way no more.
Yeah. Listen, collective Grant Williams still a VP.
But that's why the Thunder are going to win the NBA championship.
Because they're diving?
They have 2 guys that are a part of the 50-50 ball club.
It's true. It's true, man.
Caruso and Dort will dive, bro.
But see, now I feel like this is actually making
Marcus Smart would have dove.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you're almost making a case that more diving needs to happen. That the Thunder will win the championship because they got 2 divers. Like every team needs 2 divers. Maybe you have to wear a special jersey like that. This is the guy that dives.
A patch, the dive patch.
That's right. That's
right.
Dive. Oh man! But back to OKC, I'm a big fan of like roles within a team, and it seems like they have such a clear. And I was saying this about Minnesota early on where they like had a clear 8, but OKC, you're like, we got Batman and SGA. We got like Robin and Alfred as Chet and J-Dub. And then you got your divers and Caruso and Dort, but it's just like clear role guys. And I think that's what also separates them. Like everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to be bringing to the table. And now, as we saw in the Minnesota series, like you can't double Shea anymore.
Yeah.
Because J-Dub's going to carve you up now. Chet's going to...
They got way too many options.
Yeah.
You only got a chance if they're having bad shooting nights.
Right.
And even still, they control the pace, right?
And they can grind it out. Like
But this is the thing. If you want to run, which the Knicks want to do.
Yep.
Which the Pacers want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to say, all right, you know what? Shay, walk it up.
Yeah,
Get to the line.
exactly.
We're going to drag this game out.
And then there's no answers, man. There's
And
no answers
control
for that
pace and
team.
space, man.
Yeah. And like again, like you're banking on them just getting like the lights getting too bright. Like, that's what you need.
But even if you want to run,
Yeah.
they gonna shoot threes.
Yeah. And they can run. Like they have a team that can. Like you don't want OKC in transition either. Like that's not what you're rooting for. Yeah, I don't think these games, like I do think whoever OKC plays, it's like 5, maybe 6 games, but probably 5. I don't even think they're like blowouts. I don't think that at all, but I just think they are going to be consistently up like 8 to 10 in every game, and then you're going to have to hope that they get sloppy with the ball or just have a terrible shooting night. But again, even when they shoot poorly, they're just like, we'll lock you down. You're not going to get a single easy bucket. Like Brunson, you want to do your ISO stuff and get into the paint. Well, here's Caruso and Dort, or Halliburton. You want to get out running with Siakam. Here's J-Dub. Here's Wallace. Like they just have so many guys. It's nuts, man. We talked about like this whole series without like talking about Minnesota at all. Outside of the fact that I know there was a lot of conversation like Ant needs to do this team needs to. I thought, listen, man, back-to-back years, you're a Final Four team. Not even because they're in the Western Conference. They're a Final 2 team in the Western Conference back-to-back seasons. I don't think there's anything they should be hanging their head on. Like Ant's still so young. I think they have some decisions to make heading into next season. Like, are they gonna spend some money? Does Randall come back long term? Is it just one more year? Like, what do you do with Nas Nikhil? I don't know. Like, how are you feeling about the Timberwolves moving forward?
I still think that, again, I'm not mad at the pairing of Julius Randle. Julius Randle is what you get.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You get some good games, you get some bad games, but they need a third. They need a third. And it's not even like whether it's a commitment to Jalen McDaniel saying, hey, you're going to be our third guy on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think there needs to be a come to Jesus moment of a role identity.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many guys asked to do many things, and we don't know. I think there's an identity thing more than an actual roster build.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great point because they like right now, if McDaniels goes off, it's like, okay, good, we get a McDaniels game. Or Dante finally goes off, okay, cool, we get a Dante game. But you're right, there needs to be a little bit more consistency with whoever that next scorer guy is going to be.
They're the Pacers.
Yeah, that's great.
They're the Pacers of the West. You get what I'm saying? We have the conversations of, hey, Siakam, is the best player. Hey, Tyrese Halliburton's the best player. No. Miles Turner's the best player. We had these conversations talking about the Indiana Pacers back in January. And now it's like, oh, well, Halliburton's back on the horse. I know Siakam had a great game for him. And it's just like, there's so much inconsistency.
Yeah.
Like, clearly we know Ant is the guy. But at the end of the day, you have to narrow down and say, yo, who's taking the last shot? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? Who's doing that? And they become a star in their role. And I just don't see that in a consistent standpoint from Indiana or Minnesota.
Yeah. And Indiana, at least like with Siakam.
Like New York,
Brunson Cat.
It's Brunson.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
It's not. No. I think it should be Brunson Cat.
But it's Brunson's the guy. I got you.
He's taking a guaranteed bad night, good night, 25 or more shots.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether he's getting
doubled or tripled, it does not matter.
And Tyrese Halliburton, under 10 attempts.
Yeah.
Under 15 attempts.
That's never happening with Brunson.
It's just not happening. They understand the responsibility to defend. However they defend it, they're going to get them shots up. And it's just like, I'm making the right play. And that's not questioning his aggressiveness because he can be aggressive. But I just think that Ant is wearing the Ben 10 watch. Yeah. Which player do I want to emulate? Do I want to be KD and be efficient? Do I want to be Steph and I want to shoot the three? Do I want to be Bron and make the right play? Be Ant.
And I think
be Ant.
You called this at the top too. I think like we'll see him work on some of his like off ball stuff. Like he's been adding stuff to his game every single year, and he's still so young. Like I think like when they said this about the Thunder, like you need the playoff experience. That's what this is for Ant, I think. And now he's about to come into his moment. But you're right. He does have to decide who he's good. Like just be yourself, man. Just be that player. One of the bright spots I thought for Minnesota, and he was my favorite player in summer league last year to see in person, was Terrence Shannon Jr. And for him to he barely played minutes this rate. He was not a regular rotation guy, and I thought he stepped in and was just
I thought that was also a problem, right?
Like, why aren't you getting these minutes in February?
Yeah, just you know what I mean. Like, shouts to taking the best advantage of your opportunity, but like throwing a guy in and just expecting this, like, yeah, of course he's going to shock teams because he's not on the scouting report.
Right.
He's going to make plays, bro. Like, that's just the norm. But now, okay, the league's on notice. So, like, how does he crack a rotation and get in there? How important is he to the Minnesota Timberwolves and moving forward? Yeah. What is Rob Dillingham going to be?
And that's who I was going to
What's the future of Mike Conley Jr.?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do they go and make a trade and go get Darius Garland?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I personally would love Darius Garland straight up for Jalen Suggs.
Yeah, I think I saw that getting floated a little bit yesterday too, and I wonder if, like, man, Suggs is just that makes sense for both teams, right? Because Orlando already has that defense there, so like you're not like, yes, you're sacrificing defense, Suggs to Garland, but you're so desperate for some like on-ball playmaking that Garland would be such a huge impact for that Orlando team. But yeah, man, you like mentioned Rob Dillingham, who I've been trying to get Dilly Bar. I've been trying to get that to go as like a nickname. Been trying to force that into the universal Dilly Bar. Shout out Dairy Queen. But you give up a pretty good pick for him. And another guy who didn't really crack the rotation. I mean, he got a little bit of run in February or March or whatever it was. But like you need those two guys to step up, assuming that one of Randall, Reed, and it most likely is going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think, is the guy who ends up not being there next season because they're not going to be able to pay them all. But I still think they're in a good place. I feel like we're so quick to be like, we got to tear it down. We got some major, major red flags here. And I don't think that is the case. I think Minnesota should, dude, you haven't been competitive since freaking KG left. And then all of a sudden you get 2 back-to-back conference finals appearances. Like live a little, enjoy the W, enjoy the W of getting there. All right, let's wrap with this. I tried to put a little off-season teaser together for us, and we're not going to go too in depth with this because we can save that for some off-season content. But I figured we could do a little stay or go. Like, do you think this player or players ends up on a different team, or are they back with the same team? We kind of already said. You think Randall? Let's start with Julius Randle since that's a good transition. You think Randall's on the Timberwolves next year, or is it elsewhere?
On the Timberwolves.
All right, let's do the big one, which I feel like the media keeps flip-flopping of where they think he's going. But Giannis, do you think Giannis is on the Bucks next year or somewhere else?
I'm going to stick with my guns and say Giannis stays.
I think so, too.
I don't want to change my mind.
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the offseason or
Shams Charania has said that that's going to be the most active, and I'm going to let him do his job. But
yeah,
again,
I was surprised by that.
I just don't see where Giannis ends up.
Yeah, unless somebody like offers Milwaukee like a Godfather offer, I don't see it either. Okay, the Celtics. We'll do a little round robin. Do you think Jaylen Brown is still a Boston Celtic next year?
Jaylen Brown's out of there.
You think JB's gone?
Out of there.
Woo, where do you think he's going? Do you have a lean somewhere? No, just like let's cut the salary the most efficient way possible. JB.
Similar to what Jeff Teague said. Hey, we're trading Paul George.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to tank. No. They go get some pieces back that always compete.
Yeah. I was trying to put together some I was messing around the trade machine trying to get something going.
Peyton Pritchard, you are a starter.
Peyton Pritchard All-Star season incoming. I was looking at like Houston and like, does Houston want to give up like a Tyrese?
That's cliche.
Yeah.
It's cliche. I'm not
just because of Ime?
Nah, it's just cliche. It's just an easy target. I'm not gonna do
that. All right. I couldn't find any other like good spots for him. I thought like
you just never know. I'm not gonna overdo that part.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't factor in draft picks and how the money works and things of that nature. And
the other one I was messing around with
water turns into wine.
Yeah, quickly, right? The other one I was messing around with was New Orleans. maybe like Herb Jones and some draft capital, and then you get like Trey Murphy if you get DeJounte healthy, Zion if he actually plays. But again, none of them feel good. None of them feel good. All right, let's do. What about the rest of that Celtics? Do you think Drew Holiday's on the Celtics next year?
Drew Holiday's gone.
He's gone. How about the big Latvian man, Kristaps Porzingis?
I think he is gone.
He's gone. Wow, man, Celtics gonna look very different next year.
Absolutely.
How about the some older heads? You think LeBron and James Harden both just opt in, stay with the Clippers and the Lakers?
LeBron's not changing nothing.
Yeah.
52 million, thank you. James Harden staying. Oh, he's not staying, bro. Ain't not leaving money.
Nobody's leaving LA.
No.
You know? All right. 2 more. One of them's still playing basketball right now, and he's been in trade rumors for the last 25 years, but is a free agent this year. You think Miles Turner is still with the Pacers next year?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have to do it. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to. I think it's gonna be tough.
I think people are gonna throw some money at him too.
You're definitely gonna see some money, but I just think that it's gonna be tough. But yeah, you never know, man. They have to make this move. But he definitely could wear another jersey.
Yeah, I could see Miles being like, you got Thomas Bryant and Tony Bradley behind me. You are paying me to come back. And that's not even no disrespect to them.
No, it's not even that. I just think that the collective bargaining, like, I mean, you know, like that affects it. I just don't think that they're going to be able to pay him.
Yeah. All right. One last guy who I believe it's a team option. You think Freddie, Mr. Van Fleet, still playing with the Rockets next season?
No, he's gone.
He's gone?
Mm-hmm.
I think they could use that money too to like if Houston does want to make a big splash, that's the contract.
Like Jalen Green's going to stay, but Fred VanVleet's out of there.
He's out of there. Yeah, I like
Sengun stays.
Yeah,
you know
I think so too.
So,
I think that roster looks pretty similar.
It'll be like Cam Whitmore and guys like that. Reed Shepherd on the move.
Yeah. I know. That's what I think Houston could be so fun because they're like, hey, we got some money in Fred that we can give you, plus some young assets that you'll get excited about. Yeah, I'm excited to watch the whole state of Texas, Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio. Excited to see what they do. Trey, anything else we gotta hit before we get out of here? We got Game 6 tomorrow. Are you gonna be in the building for Game 6?
I think so. I haven't decided yet. But
Yeah.
I like basketball that much that I'll punish myself to watch 2 teams that I don't like.
On a Saturday night.
On a Saturday night, why not? You know what I mean? I'm already in Indiana, so I might as well watch the game in person, man.
Yeah.
And feel the energy of people's pain.
Oh man,
that's the thing. Like when you don't care who win, it's probably one of the most tough things because you're getting that bad energy of somebody having a terrible day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and it is
whether it's a gambler next to you or
Mhm.
it's somebody who just really loves the team and you're just in the middle, kind of like, I'm just here for basketball. It's just different. It's a different type of intensity, but I wouldn't trade it, man. It's a great experience, man. And if anybody hasn't made it to the Fieldhouse, it is a great arena, no bad seat.
Fieldhouse is nice.
And they love basketball here.
They sure do. They sure love basketball. Yeah, the energy's been nuts in New York. I live over in Queens, and there's a bar on the corner of our block, and you could hear them from inside my apartment last night. Like people were losing their damn mind. It was.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was not. Everybody was just like ripping butts in between quarters on the corner. It was loud. It was good though. It was good energy. All right, let's call it there. But before we get out of here, if this is your first time hanging out, whether you're live with us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the Count the Dings channel, and then go find our podcast if you're listening to us on YouTube right now. Go find our podcast, Hoop Sense, and rate, subscribe. Come on, leave a review, a little 5-star energy. Come on, let's get that algorithm boost jumping. But appreciate all y'all tuning in. Have a good weekend. We'll be back next week, either with a finals preview or with some Game 7 spice. But thanks for watching.